listen, I can't be interviewed if I'm not in a collared shirt and wearing pants. So I didn't want to give you the quarantine special.
No,
No,
that's
you're better. You're
understandable.
worth more than that, Paul. You're worth more than that.
Did I gain any weight or have
You look
I?
good, dude.
Okay,
You look
good.
good. You look good. I'm trying to hide the fact that I gained weight with this horrendous red beard that I'm growing over here.
My wife wasn't having the beard. I had to shave it. I'll send you some
Well,
pictures. I'll
I
text you some.
was. Did you do it in spurts? Did you stagger the shaving
It
exercise? That's the
was
way to do
yeah,
it,
beard and then just straight mustache.
right?
It lasted a week.
That's
So
all right. That's all right. The memories last a lifetime.
exactly. Yeah, I got the pictures so that I can show her. I can always bring it up later.
Yeah.
Um,
How's everything going? All
Good,
right.
good. Yeah, things have been going great actually. Been actually getting out on the road since early August. I've definitely noticed
I
some.
was gonna say you guys are one of the few ones that are actually getting in to see customers. I talked to Pete. I guess he had flown up there to go visit Northrop,
Yeah, yeah.
and Pat's telling me you guys are getting into a couple of accounts. So good on you, man. You guys are the first ones.
I need it for my sanity. I can't just, I kind of started this series. The series. This is you're only the third one, but I just had a lot of extra time on my hands, and besides doing forecasting and cold calling and following up on old opportunities, new opportunities, I had a few extra hours in my day where I would have been usually going on account calls, where I kind of can fill that in with things like this, creating a little bit of content and marketing pieces. So, but now that since early August, we've been starting to get back out there. It's only a select few contractors. Some of the bigger names kind of have a nationwide no acceptance unless it's like emergency. So that's understandable, right? And we're following all the protocols, and actually Maryland is seeing a little bit of an uptick now. So they're kind of we're back to phase one or two. Doesn't really affect us, but I could potentially see that if we do go on lockdown right before or after Thanksgiving. So fingers crossed, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, our phase that I don't know what phase numbers they are, 12, 13, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Our new restriction is that our bars have to close at 10 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock, which go figure. COVID should be shaking in its little boots from that
I'm
restriction.
I'm in bed by then.
Right. Right,
uh,
exactly.
so I just wanted to get you to introduce yourself and explain the roles you've had within Uber and Sooner and what you do now and how you interact with customers.
So is this going to be, when you say long form interview, is this like editable, or are you going to quote me verbatim?
Uh,
Stutters and all.
I try to very, very minimal editing. The only editing I've done so far is when my dogs freak out at the mailman. That's the only thing I've cut
Okay.
out.
Well, I will preface this all by warning you that I do have somebody who's working on the apartment upstairs right now,
Oh, you're
and
fine.
so if you do hear some hammering or screwing or whatever,
Yeah.
it's that's where it's coming from. Um, but sure. So I am Mike Teri. I am the global market manager for defense. So I am in charge of essentially managing the market push and pull. So when I say push, I mean our product development initiatives, our production initiatives, and product transfers to strategic regions. We are taking success stories from some of our global customers and disseminating them throughout the organization to drive sales efforts, to drive targeted business development. Um, we are also taking inputs from the regions with regard to market trends, product trends, with regard to obstacles for winning business, price structure, et cetera. And we're also in charge of keeping tabs on what our competitors are doing for the aerospace and defense sector,
Mhm.
and making sure that we are keeping pace from a performance perspective, from a lead time perspective, time to market, as well as quality perspective. So really just taking the individual efforts from all of our regions and the silos within those regions and coordinating them for global success in the highly lucrative aerospace and defense sector.
Yep. And before that, which I think made you a great fit for this conversation, you were the director of engineering, applications engineering for Astrolab division, right?
Correct. So I started with Astrolab out of their application engineering team. I was managing the application engineering team and then began managing product development soon thereafter, overseeing the R&D engineering team, our SAP implementation at Astrolab, as well as the efforts of the application engineering and sales teams at Astrolab. That was prior to coming into this role.
And Astrolab was acquired by Huber Suhner in 2014-ish?
2012.
2012,
Actually.
okay.
Yeah, 2012. It was December of 2012. And now, as of earlier this year, Astrolab is essentially fully implemented into the Huber Suhner organizational structure with regard to management processes, quality processes, and design processes.
And for anyone listening who doesn't know who Astrolab is, it basically had decades and decades of experience in the interconnect world for military, aerospace, and defense applications. Been on so many platforms. They're very well known for their bend-to-the-end technology for in-the-box solutions, semi-rigid replacement for with flexible cabling. So that's kind of like their bread and butter is that the Minibend assembly. We can go over that in a little bit, but that's just the Astrolab is just one piece of the pie to the Huber Suhner portfolio. And I kind of like try and keep these to 30 minutes, and I just was going through in my head like how we're going to break this down because there's so many moving parts and so many divisions of Huber Suhner. I think the main takeaway is that I want to relate in this conversation is that Huber Suhner is not just a connector or a cable assembly company. It's just so much more than that. And a lot of people don't know them for the antennas, the limiters, the RF fiber, basically the whole systems group, the harnessing. And so there's just so many more pieces of this pie that aren't really as well known as the in the box or test and measurement cable solutions that Huber Suhner is known for in such a high quality realm.
Right, and one thing that we're really trying to push to my market in particular is that we are a technology company. Mm-hmm. We are not a wire and cable and connector company, although that is one of our core competencies. But we really are a technology-driven company. We pride ourselves on offering what I would call enabling technologies, identifying challenges in our key markets and solving them with novel innovations in materials engineering, production engineering, and design, right down to design, and trying to eliminate a lot of the trade-offs that our customers are forced to make with traditional connectivity solutions.
Yeah. I guess one of those trade-offs, if you want to get into some products, the Sukaflex rotor-swaging capability. That's a great example of how, a cable is a cable, right? Everyone has, pretty similar specs for the longest time. Everyone, insertion loss, flexibility, phase stability, they're all very key and critical to our applications in the A&D market. But the research and development team in Switzerland came up with this great idea on how to basically kill two birds with one stone. And you're able to get the electrical performance of a solid conductor, but yet the phase stability versus flexibility of a stranded conductor. So do you want to run through that real quick? And I actually have a Sukaflex 126 right here. If you just want to run through that, and actually, I think I can probably edit in a little picture of the before, the during, and the after of the rotor-swaging center conductor, the process that it goes through. But if you just want to explain that. a little bit more in
Yeah,
detail.
absolutely. The technology of rotary swaging is nothing new. It's a technology that is used in many markets for cold forming.
Mm-hmm.
And it has many material benefits as far as hardening material and strength of materials before and after the cold forming. And so what Huber Suhner did was exactly like you said. They just took a technology that exists and supported other markets and other product types, and they put it into cable assemblies where really historically you had to pick and choose what you wanted to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted the flexibility of a stranded center conductor, you were going to have to deal with return loss, performance issues, and less than optimal insertion loss and power handling, and vice versa with solid center conductors. And so, Huber Suhner really saw the value of eliminating that trade-off, and the value was such that they incorporated this technology as a standard offering across almost their entire Sukaflex portfolio, with continued product development initiatives down the line to round out the rest of the diameters of the cables to include this rotary swage center conductor. And it's something that our customers really have embraced as a novel solution to challenges they've had in the past. And this is across all markets, not just mine. And on top of that, it's the foundation of our brand new test and measurement catalog because of its benefits to production tests and laboratory tests equipment.
I got a 550 right here. So this is a 50 gigahertz version that's armored. Anti-torquing capability in the armoring. This is just an amazing cable for anything up to 50 gigahertz, and frankly, very low lead times with the P Plus program, right?
That's exactly right. And so even for custom configurations, we do have some off-the-shelf configurations in our highest runners, but for custom configurations, we're delivering in 2 to 4 weeks, and they're working every day to improve that lead time even further.
Yeah. Do you want to go into the P Plus program a little bit? Because I know we have these very high performance cable assemblies, and standard lead times. If you go out for a quote to any other cable manufacturer, if it's like a custom length or custom connectors, we're looking at, I would say 10 to 12 weeks is like the industry standard. What are we seeing from let's just say our Sukaflex line, because that's what we're touching on right now, for custom and off the shelf?
So to I guess touch on the first point there is time to market is becoming such a critical requirement in my market as technology in aerospace and defense moves more quickly than our customers can integrate it. Lead times are make or break on winning new projects for us, and so the P Plus program is really a real-time real-time review of our high running products and an effort to optimize not only our supply chain, but our production locations to support high running product lines. So the Sukaflex cable assembly portfolio, is not just off-the-shelf standard cable assemblies. We've also saw a demand for thermal vacuum test chamber cable assemblies, for example, and we're able to set up a preferred plus program around that product line. And so lead times, depending on the bell curve of inventory that we have to support our different interfaces, can range from as short as 2 to 4 weeks to as long as 6 to 8 weeks on custom cable assemblies. But that 6 to 8 week time window is still quite
below
an
average
lead time. Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that's been a huge benefit in our new business has been our lead times. Huber Suhner, in my opinion, I think has always historically been known for very high performance cables, and sometimes not with the best lead time, historically, but ever since I would say within the past 2 to 3 years, the lead times have just dropped, especially out of our European facilities. They've just dropped dramatically, and it's definitely earned us a lot of credit in the field, not just being a high performance manufacturer, but also quick reaction. Because we have a lot of labs in the Mid Atlantic area where quick reaction is definitely needed, where a lot of DoD applications that need to be fielded and out the door ASAP. And 2 to 4 weeks definitely puts us in that sweet spot where we can get something within a few weeks. Yeah, so I think the deliveries have definitely helped us earn some new business. But
Yeah, what you're really seeing there too is just the effect of the globalization of Huber Suhner and the final, I guess the final push for our ERP standardization across all of our production facilities. So as a result of that, you have a lot more agility in the supply chain. And also, we've moved our aerospace center of excellence, or aerospace and defense center of excellence, to the Astrolab facility here in New Jersey, which actually allows us even more agility in time to market with custom developments for the defense market.
Actually, let's talk about that a little bit. Huber and Suhner is a global company, and I mean we have Mexican facility, we have an Australian facility, Poland, Switzerland, China. I mean, truly, almost in every continent we have manufacturing facilities. So how does that play into earning new business? You know, you're a global market manager. So have you been able to play off the fact that, hey, look, we may have, our government may have an agreement with a certain country where it may be a U.S. based project, but they may need manufacturing in, say, you know, Europe or Australia. Is that then that's something we're able to move around and move pieces of the puzzle to certain locations?
Yeah, and not only are we able to do that, but we're able to do it efficiently and effectively with everybody operating off of the same ERP system. Everybody is operating off of the same product lifecycle management system, as well as the global management system and quality management system. So all of these systems are cookie cutter for every one of our production locations. We are supporting go to India opportunities. We are supporting U.S. domestic production requirements. We are supporting Australia, Europe. I mean, we're able to effectively transfer our production processes and build up capabilities at new locations, you know, in a very short amount of time to support critical programs. And what we're finding is that our ability to do that in some cases is a difference of winning business versus not being able to compete.
Yep. Yep. And obviously, there's cost trade-offs. So, you know, manufacturing in certain locations can offer you know, Costa Rica being one of them. We have basically a carbon copy of our New Jersey facility down in Costa Rica. So, if you're looking for, you know, standard cable assemblies for our, you know, our microbend, which has the bend to the end technology here. So, you know, this we can have done in Jersey or we can have done in Costa Rica, right? So depending on, you know, customers' needs, if you need it U.S. manufactured, that's fine. We'll just do it at Jersey, or we can go down to Costa Rica. So it's the flexibility is definitely there for being such a large company.
Yeah, and again, being the difference between winning business and not, you know, the Minibend portfolio in general, very novel technology. You know, and where it's needed, it is a significant advantage for design engineers who have very tight packaging constraints. And so, you know, in some cases, we have customers who just can't afford to have that next level of benefits from their products, and they have to make sacrifices to fit their budgets. And with the Costa Rica facility, and now with the production transfer in process to other low-cost manufacturing facilities across the world, we're able to bring the Minibend technology to a price point and localization that will enable us to really expand our footprint with the Minibend product across the globe.
And actually, speaking of that product line, tell us a little bit about the new facility in Jersey.
Yeah, so the Astrolab facility has expanded, and they are officially all moved in, and the production lines are up and running. The production facility is a quarter mile away from the old one. However, there's about 60,000 square feet of additional production floor space available, new production lines, new in-house capability, as well as one thing I'm most excited about is the brand new prototype shop. So one thing that Astrolab had lacked the ability to do in-house was to take some of their new and novel designs and do in-house prototyping. So now we have not only our in-house 3D printer technology that can do rapid mechanical prototyping, but also a full machine shop that can support low volume, high mix solutions for our customers to evaluate and design in with quick time to market.
Yeah, so the rotor-swaging, speaking of unique solutions, the rotor-swaging capability came from Europe, right? And the real connector and interconnect.
Sorry, I got a cop car driving by here.
Oh, I can barely hear it. It's fine. It's
Okay, go ahead.
yeah. For unique interconnect solutions, the SMPMT came from Astrolab, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I got that one right here. So this is your standard SMPM connector with a threaded nut on it to give you an anti-vibration um, capability. So anything that's flying, or maybe it's on like a striker vehicle, and you just have a lot of vibration, you just snap on. And I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, this is a smooth bore SMPM, right? And it doesn't need to be full detent due to the locking thread, right?
Right, again, and so the theme of eliminating trade-offs, the SMPM-T allows you to use only a smooth bore, so the mating cycles goes from 100 to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You now have a threaded coupling nut that is nothing new from a technology perspective, right? It's a MIL PRF 39012 qualified solution. And not only does it give you a constant, unwavering signal under vibration and shock, but it also provides additional protection against RF leakage, which in tight packaging environments can become an issue with the traditional SMP and SMPM solutions.
And actually, this gives us our bend to the end technology here. So whenever you need to come right out the back of that connector, you're able to do in the box routing where something a little less flexible is not capable of doing that. And another anti-vibration connectors are self-locking SMP. Was that another Astrolab design, or was that Europe?
Yeah, so that was another problem-solving design. We have customers in the new space market who are putting together these production lines to support very high volumes of satellite payloads in a very short amount of time. And so they need a solution that is going to be as robust as a threaded connection in spaceflight environments, but they don't have the production time to be able to torque all of these connections, hundreds of connections per payload. And so the SMP-SL, the self-locking SMP solution, is a true push-on solution that has an inspection ring. So inspectors along the production line can see just by looking at the connection that it is fully seated. And it's a simple push and click, and it's guaranteed not to demate without a demating tool. So really focusing on new space and production efficiency, where high mating cycles may not need to be a requirement. So you don't even need to put that tool in there and demate as often as you would in a test and measurement lab, for example.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique solution. You see the red ring. You can hear the audible click, and that's a very tight connection where that's only going to be demated with this tool right here, or I think we have a few other tools depending on which way you're able to come in. But I have a video on this on YouTube. I'll just link that to this video as well. But yeah, it's a pretty unique solution that we're seeing a lot of interest from for if the SMPMT, because I think that's a great solution, but sometimes the insertionless can be a little higher since it's a smaller cable. If you need a little bit better performance electrically, we can go up in cable diameter to our 141 equivalent that still has bend to the end capability, where you can do that right at the end of the connector with a little bit better of insertion loss properties.
Yeah, and that connector not only is designed for spaceflight, but we also released last year a more industrial solution that utilizes really lightweight PEEK plastic detent mechanisms, and you still have the same amount of robustness in the connection. The cable will pull out of the back of the connector before the connector will demate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how robust that connection is, and the pull force on that cable is very, very strong with those stainless steel braids.
Yep. So that's another great solution, and the PSM connector was another one that may be more for space flight and aerospace. But that was created out of the Astrolab division for a high power, low size, small size, and low weight connector. So I think that this is like the perfect like swap opportunity. Size, weight, and power we're taking into consideration. Where you're going to get the power handling of a connector of a TNC connector in the form factor of approximately an SMA.
That's correct. Yes, and that is the trade-off in the industry. As soon as obviously a lot of these newer satellite payloads are trying to run as efficiently as possible, but they also are very high throughput, and so they do need a high amount of power on board, and the PSM is a perfect solution for that.
Mm-hmm.
The PSM, like you said, has the power handling of a TNC connector in the form factor of an SMA. And in that PSM portfolio, you have a lot of specially designed lightweight cabling that supports that interface for a truly swap-oriented solution, not just the connector, but also with the cable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean that's just some of the unique solutions that Uber and Sooner is coming out with, and they're not just resting on their laurels. They're going ahead, innovating, and it sounds now with basically a rapid prototyping group over in the new facility in New Jersey, that's not going to slow down. So, and I definitely wanted to go back to the fact that Uber and Sooner not just being a connector and cable company. I know that's kind of all we've talked so far. Can you touch base on the systems group at all?
Absolutely. So the RF Solutions division has been, it was established only a few years ago, but since then has been making very strong strides worldwide into bringing us into next higher assembly product offerings. Huber Suhner is a three-dimensional organization from a technology perspective. We have expertise in low frequency design, so DC and copper. We have expertise in fiber optic connectivity and very novel solutions associated with that technology group. And we have some very innovative technology in radio frequency. And so the RF Solutions group, even though it falls under RF, is really working to combine all of those capabilities to offer truly novel, unique, and niche problem-solving technology. And we can talk about RF over fiber and how the defense industry in general is really harnessing the power of RF over fiber, not just because of the simplicity that the design brings to your traditional transceiver type setup, but also the fact that it is truly scalable. And with the speed at which communications in the defense sector is changing, and the technology is pushing frequencies higher and higher. Your traditional coax cable analog setup is going to be capped out at a certain frequency range, right? Well, with the RF over fiber product line, it's truly scalable. And the RF Solutions group is really working on what they refer to as a Lego block approach, in that the end-to-end solutions that they're offering are Lego blocks of Huber Suhner technologies and expertise, fully modular approaches to really truly bring a tailored solution to our customers to solve their challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke about SWaP-C before. SWaP-C is certainly in the forefront of the RF over fiber benefits. But what also, the C side of things, the cost side of things, when you talk about supply chain and how many different vendors are involved in a typical end-to-end solution platform, having a single vendor control the various components and component management solutions within a program is really a cost-saving and time-saving effort for all of our customers.
I mean, yes, you got economies of scale, you have engineering support, you have, there's so many different things we can pull from within our resources that can actually benefit the customer, instead of putting that integration, that low level integration onto a customer. We can do those things in house. When I say low level, I went from our standpoint, like just being the systems group, where we can do the harnessing. Like we said, we can put fiber, power, and RF cables all together in a complete sleeve for harnesses. We can do multi-channel RF over fiber. We can duplex. We can multiplex our RF over fiber signals, and we have optical switching platforms where if you have a satellite farm and you need to do some optical switching, we have that capability with our Pilatus line. and which is a very like best in breed capability when it comes to our, optical switching. And our Cube Optics components will we integrate directly into our fiber modules, so that we're able to pull from every single resource that we have under our umbrella and kind of put these unique solutions together to a customer who may have to pull those resources from certain people for certain other customers. So we can offer this whole entire solution, and even in that solution we have antennas. We didn't even really touch on antennas yet. And we just did a pretty big acquisition of an antenna company, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the German company Katrine, their special communications portfolio is now a part of Huber and Suhner's product line, and they bring with them not only some very unique and highly capable Tetra-enabled fixed installation antennas, but they also bring a pedigreed portfolio of vehicular-mounted antennas. And we talk about the rapid technology refreshes, and a lot of your modern-day vehicular programs. They are, the next generation programs are being prioritized as rapidly reconfigurable technology platforms. And what that means, of course, is they don't want to have to bring in an entire depot full of special vehicles to do tech refreshes. They want to be able to swap out an antenna on the fly, to swap out an EW pod on the fly. Right, and so our antenna portfolio also comes with a NATO-approved mag mount solution for our vehicular antennas, such that the antenna on an armored vehicle can be rapidly reconfigured, as this mag mount solution is adaptable to many different antenna types. But it can also be repositioned as necessary on the vehicle when vehicle layouts change.
Mm-hmm.
So really a unique product portfolio that we're excited to have on board at Huber Suhner.
Yeah, definitely unique things going on over at Huber and Suhner that help me out in the field. I just got to do word recognition, listen for one of the components that we offer, and possibly tie those all up in a nice little bow for the customer, and see if we can provide like a full solution for them. It's pretty helpful. So, is there anything else you really wanted to touch on and promote from a Huber and Suhner standpoint? We did.
Well,
we touched on a lot of stuff, but
we did. One of the technologies we didn't touch on, we actually just released a new white paper on this technology. Huber Suhner is a materials and manufacturing technology specialist as well, and so a lot of the cables that are coming out of Huber and Suhner are inclusive of their novels material and manufacturing technology. And one of the product lines that boasts that the best is our CT portfolio. And so, Huber and Suhner has been foaming dielectrics for decades. And as we run into these current applications that really require the next generation of phase stability and phase criticality, we talk about SATCOM antenna solutions. We talk about over-the-horizon radar, airborne radar. Anything that involves an active electronically steered array is going to have phase critical requirements on any of the connectivity solutions that are integrated. And our CT portfolio is very well aligned with the next generation requirements of phase critical applications. And so this is purely an alternate dielectric technology that was developed by Huber and Suhner. But not only is the technology in the dielectric novel and unique to enable highly phase stable versus temperature performance, but we also integrate some of our other technology into the solution. So we talk about a Minibend Ct, for example. The name implies exactly what it is. It takes our CT portfolio from a cable perspective and combines it with the bend to the end solution of the Minibend to really provide the industry with an enabling technology that did not exist before.
Yeah, I was actually in a customer last week, and they're using hand formable semi-rigid, and they keep breaking them, and which they have their purpose. We have that. We have a Sucoform line, which is our hand formable version, which we do have a CT version of Sucoform, right?
That's correct.
So I was suggesting a Minibend solution for that with the CT, because in the box, it's just getting so hot, and they need to start improving upon their design. So they're looking at more phase stable versions. So even though it's in an ambient location, in the box is very hot, or very temperature fluid. So I just so happen to have one in my bag, a Minibend Ct. So I lent it to him. So we're waiting for feedback on that now. But I think that we get that Teflon knee out of that around the ambient temperature, right? That's the basic gist of it. That's the phase stability portion of it, right?
That's correct. Yeah, right around room temperature, Teflon has an inescapable material phenomenon known as the Teflon knee, and that Teflon knee, it drives designers crazy with regard to phased array antenna performance.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are, we're finding our customers are increasingly embracing these non-Teflon based assemblies, and we have two product portfolios within our Spuma. As well as our CT portfolio that utilize foam dielectric technologies that have
It says rotoswaging and foam dielectric.
Exactly. So again, another example of combining our unique technologies to really provide the market a truly standalone solution that eliminates a lot of trade-offs in the decision-making process. And so again, the CT portfolio is one that we are seeing more and more adaptation of in a lot of these phase critical designs. And one thing I'll mention too, back on the swap topic, is as these systems and these subsystems get smaller and smaller, and the capability inside of these systems is demanded to be more. Right? So you have a lot more active components and passive components in a much smaller area. And so thermal management becomes a huge challenge. And that's not even considering the fact that if you throw this system now on a missile or an airborne platform, now you have to worry about heat from shock, vibration, skin effect, things like this. And if cables can be one less thing you have to worry about with regard to thermal management, then that's what we're really going for. And that's where the CT line and the Spuma line are differentiated from the rest of the pack.
Can you touch on skin effect a little bit, that topic?
Sure. I mean, this is something that comes up in EW pods that are in weapons bays and aircraft. This is something that comes up in missiles. Skin effect is the heating of the outermost layer and the heat transfer of the outermost layer of a missile or EW pod that's traveling at a very high speed. Hypersonics is now a very big topic worldwide as far as the weapons race to develop a truly hypersonic and hypersonic defensive solution. And so one of the biggest challenges that the leading edge OEMs for missile development are facing for hypersonics is how to manage the temperature of the electronics inside when you have hypersonic glide bodies at speed. And so, the industry is still working to solve those problems. And unfortunately, they always think of the cable and connectors last. So they'll come to us last with that challenge. But we hope to be in a position to be able to address that need with our manufacturing technology and cable development technology in-house. And the CT certainly helps as a solution to be able to guarantee phase stable performance under widely ranging or varying temperature ranges.
Good. All right, I think that's a pretty good way to end it, and just kind of guess one key thing is just remember, just not a cable and connector company. We can do board level connectors all the way up to full system solutions. So box builds, harnesses, power. Actually, one thing, power over fiber is another thing from the systems group where we're actually powering antennas kilometers away with no copper at all. So if you have a remote location of like a shelter where you don't want to put a generator, you don't want to put a solar panel, and you don't really have enough, it's a long-term project where a battery won't work, then we can power an antenna kilometers away just by fiber optic cables. So I think that is a very unique solution that we've added to our portfolio. I think it's called our Mac 8 solution now, that we've have like a next generation of it, where we're actually putting the antenna and the RF over fiber module inside the same cone. It's not just an antenna and a coax to a module and then module to fiber. Now it's all in one neat little package that we're able to incorporate in all in one. So I think that's something that's another unique solution from us, where right there we can do the antenna, we can do the RF fiber, we can do the coax cables. So we're able to hit every single one of those pieces of the pie, and that should provide cost savings to our end user.
Yeah, not should, it does.
Yeah.
It eliminates the amount of components along the chain. So not only does it streamline the performance of the system, but you're removing potential failure nodes,
Mm-hmm.
and you're keeping everything from the same supplier that's delivered as a fully integrated kit.
Yeah.
And so, saving costs at every step of the way in the procurement process and integration process.
Yep. Yep. Sounds good. All right, man. Anything else you want to touch on?
Well, we got a lot more stuff in the pipeline for 2021. The one upside to having everybody stuck in their home offices and in the office in Jersey is that a lot of effort is being thrown into R&D.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2021 is looking to be a very busy year, productive year for product launches. And yeah, well, Huber Suhner is forever working to add to their product offering and further separate themselves. So,
Do you want to touch on anything? Because I know of a connector you guys are coming out with. I don't know if you want to touch on it yet.
absolutely. So we are working to bring to market our full SOSA compliant connectivity suite. And this is inclusive of the Vita 67 portfolio. We will have a product launch in Q1, Q2 of 2021 with a fully TE compliant nano RF Vita 67.3 platform. And this is going to be, of course, a SOSA standardized solution, sensor open source architecture. And we're also working to expand on a lot of our existing portfolios to address even wider ranges of applications with technologies such as Minibend and CT and rotary swaging. So stay tuned for more on that in 2021.
Sounds good, man. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. You too. All right, see ya.